How's it going, guys? Back with Josue Rodriguez and my co-host,
Orlando Perez.
and we're here with another episode of Behind the Bleachers. Today's episode is going to be about the NFL Draft, round one last night. Orlando, how do you feel right now on how are you feeling in the first round, and how are you feeling with your team, with the Raiders and who they picked, and especially picking that position very early on in the first round, which is not you don't do on a normal basis.
My team, I mean the Raiders, feel me? I feel like Ashton Jesse, like you can't be mad at it, but at the same time, I wanted Shador. I wanted a QB. I don't have full faith in Geno. But I mean I'm not mad at it. I do understand it because there's nobody else on the board. They weren't fully committed to Shador. So Ashton was like the second best, and we got our Marshawn Lynch 2.0. So, I mean, I can't complain about it, but overall, it's just shocking that Shador has not been picked yet because to me, he was a top three pick. But that's just my opinion right now.
I mean, looking at here, Shador Sanders, if you don't know him, son of Deion Sanders, you can say he might be the NFL version of LeVar Ball of the NBA, and he's played in the league, so he's always been a character in the league. But in general, Shador Sanders here last season with Colorado, the Buffaloes. He stands at 6'2", 215 pounds. It's a decent size for a quarterback. Threw for over 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with a QBR of 75.5, which is 20th out of all the quarterbacks. I mean, 4,100 yards is it's a lot right now, and 3,700 touchdowns with only doing 10 interceptions. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks coming out of the draft right now, but I don't know. I mean,
You gotta look at the history. He went to HBCU, Jackson State, turned that whole program around, then followed his pops to Colorado to a program that has not done nothing in 2 decades, been negative for 2 decades. In the first 2 seasons he's there with a bad O-line, not a fully assembled team because no one fully believed in it, and still have pull up those numbers.
well, I mean, if you look at it, if you go back to this is his second season with Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're talking about turning around a team, this is the only year that they had a good season. Last year, they weren't good at all.
But it was better compared to the before that.
Yes, but expectation was win something, and they didn't. If you look at here, you got the year before that, 27 touchdowns, only three interceptions. So he threw 10 touchdowns less, but for only three interceptions for 3,200 yards, which is really good. The year before that, which is when he was at the other school, we got 3,700 yards with 40 touchdowns. Gosh, and with six interceptions. I don't know. They got him rated here at ESPN as his grade's at 87. He's second best in his position, and overall rank, he's a 35 out of all positions, and he got skipped in 32 of those. So,
I
I mean,
100% believe it's because of his pops.
I
His
can I think I can agree with that. I can agree. Yeah, Cam Ward in the first pick. What do you think about that? Going to the Titans.
I don't mind it. I like Cam Ward, but I mean, I don't know. Titans is just it's a place where players go to die. I can't name you one Titans player, not one.
Will Levis. So Will Levis has had a similar story as Shador Sanders. Will Levis was coming out as one of the top prospects for as a quarterback. Um, he was set to be drafted, I believe, in the top five, or if not top 10, in the draft last year. Gets skipped in that, doesn't get picked. He's in Kansas City, and my wife and I were watching, and we're just watching him drop in the first round. And I'm telling my wife, it's like something's happening. I mean, So we're just watching this guy, and he's just sitting by himself. People leaving the Union Station. He's not getting picked, and he doesn't get picked like Shador Sanders. And that was a crazy thing. Shador didn't. I don't think he got invited to the draft,
He chose
but
not to go.
or did he not choose to? Okay, okay, because I
He
didn't
chose
see him
not to
there.
go. Yeah.
But Will Levis was at the draft night and did not get picked. So it's a similar story.
The similar story would be with, what's his name? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was what? He was projected to go first round, but didn't get picked till the second round because he was apparently too cocky. Say, quote unquote was the same thing analysts call Shador Sanders cocky. But I mean,
I think right now how it is in the NFL. So right now I think the NFL and the NBA are opposite. NFL, the owners control the league. NBA, the players control the league. So I think owners are just they just owners and coaches and GMs just don't want to mess with like you might be a talent, but I think they would rather risk on taking another key piece of a team and then maybe picking up a veteran quarterback or even picking up maybe someone a diamond in the rough in the later rounds in a quarterback. Then you pick Shador Sanders, right? If you would have picked him in the top five, right? Top five or top 10, you had to pay all that money to him. You have his dad to deal with. And at the same time, if he becomes, I don't want to say a bust, but if like in the next 3 seasons he doesn't turn out to what he needs to be, everyone's going to blame it on the GM who picked him, or people are going to blame it on him right away. And now you got to be like, well, I'm paying. Now you're already paying so much money, and now he's not having a good season. And then when his rookie contract's up, you got to pay him a bag because he's a top prospect still from back then, and you got no one else to look to because, for example, if the Raiders would have picked him, you guys got Geno, right? But let's say Geno leaves the first year, then you have Shador. He doesn't become what a player he needs to be, and he just becomes like a mid-tier quarterback, and you're paying too much for him, and then his contract is over, and you got to pay him that money. But now we're looking at the draft. You guys don't have a high pick to pick the next quarterback, so now you can't do that unless you trade up or assets or give up assets. So it's like you either waste it on this year or you just rather wait and pick up a more important piece later on and build it and then pick someone else later on.
if I'm the Raiders right now, we already picked Ashton Genty at the first round, and I feel like as a Raider, you just need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. We haven't had an identity for the past couple years since Derek Carr. That was our identity. Since then, we haven't had nothing. We haven't been inconsistent in the quarterback position. I wouldn't mind starting with Geno, but we don't even have to sign Shador. It could be Quinn
Oh,
Ewers.
second round just started.
For real.
Yeah. Wow.
I just saw something.
Browns just picked Carson Schweinsteiger.
Who?
He he is a linebacker from
What team?
UCLA, the Browns. And the Texans are on the clock. And the best available player is Johnson from Michigan. He is a cornerback. And then the best fit would be a defensive tackle. Regardless, at the end of the day, looks like they might go defense, even though they need an offensive tackle and a guard. They need a defensive tackle. They need a tight end, and they need a running back. Ashton Genty, I say this: if you guys can pick up Shador Sanders in the third round, I think that's a win because you don't pay him as much, and hopefully, maybe that chip on his shoulder will show up even more because he goes, "I was a third round pick," which nobody really thought he was going to fall to the third round. That's what they're projecting, but say if he does fall that deep, you don't start him. You start Geno. Geno's an average quarterback in the league. He can do some things here and there. But I think the way the Raiders are going to go is Ash Genty's going to get the ball. You guys are not going to be a throwing game. But if you guys need to throw the ball, Geno can throw the ball. And if he doesn't throw the ball, he can run the ball. I mean, I think that's the way it's going to go. You guys are going to do the run game, have a decent quarterback, just throwing some balls here and there, and then try to develop Shador Sanders. And I think if he does develop, then Shador and Ashton Genty would go crazy. For 3 seasons, I've been scared. 3 seasons I've been scared that the division has gotten like crazy good. This is when Russell Wilson first arrived with the Broncos, and I thought it was going to be crazy. And then Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders, I was like, okay, here we go again. But I don't know why, but the AFC West always turns out to be a contenders to be best, um, one of the best in the league, but they don't do anything. It's always just the Chiefs, and then maybe the Chargers make it to the playoffs. Even though it was the Chargers, Broncos, and the Chiefs that made it to the playoffs, it was Broncos barely making it. But Broncos have a really good quarterback with Bo Nix. I like what they got going on. I'm not too scared as long as I trust the players who we draft. I really do. I mean, I think ever since Mahomes, we've just picked really key players. I mean, besides Mahomes, we had Creed Humphrey, one of the best centers. He won rookie of the he won the best rookie center and the best center in the league at the same year. He won. That we also got Isaiah Pacheco at the seventh round. When he got him that year, he was a really, really good running back. We got, I think, in the third round or fourth round, we got Rashee Rice from SMU. Now he's before he tore his ACL because of Mahomes, go out and play a big year. I think in the second round, we picked Xavier Worthy, which last season played really good, even though we lost horrible in the Super Bowl. He caught a Super Bowl touchdown. He's playing what he needs to do. Rashee Rice comes in, Xavier Worthy comes in, Hollywood Brown comes in. It's going to look great. And then what we saw in the Super Bowl is the same issue we saw 2 years ago, which is they could not protect Mahomes. So we picked the best offensive tackle within all the offensive tackles at the 32nd pick of the first round at a steal. The only reason why he fell so low in the first round is because um, I think he was projected around top five, maybe if not top 10, but he had a ACL injury. Thank you guys for tuning in behind the bleachers. Go ahead and like this episode, subscribe. Until next time.